Hello friends, we haven't done a video in a while, so I thought we would do a little day in the life, maybe a couple days, and we're also just doing some immigration work. I really want to talk about where I am in my immigration journey right now because this is such a big part of my life, and it is, or has for a while, dictated so many of the decisions I've made and the choices I've made, and I'm really in a part of life now where I'm trying to move out of this being the center of everything while at the same time it kind of still is. So anyway, I don't know if that made any sense at all, but that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. We're at a point where we're getting really close to submitting my application for PR. We're just waiting for a couple of things, or even in fact one document to come through, which we're hoping maybe this week, latest end of next week is kind of the vibes we have right now. So just going to talk about that. It's Tuesday today. It's around 11 a.m. I've been in a serious work mode this morning. Just kind of got up, going to make myself a cup of tea, and I think take Sin down for a quick little pee. The plan today is, work until maybe about 5. I want to go to the gym, get a run in. I did not run this morning, which was okay. We slept in. It was very much needed, but I want to make sure I get my run in. And I think I might go to the gym to do it because the weather is super gloomy outside right now. There we go. Can we see? Super gloomy outside. So we might just head to the gym to get a quick little run in. My goal today is to go to bed or be in bed by 9, asleep before 10. I've been struggling to wake up at 5 a.m. recently, and I really want to. And in order to make it easy for myself, in order to set myself up for success, the goal tonight is in bed by 9. Let's see if it happens. I'm gonna make a quick dinner today and then maybe just do some immigration stuff. I have a few things I need to upload to our portal, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about immigration feelings, all those things. So that's what we have to look forward to today. Went down for another pee, and I'm gonna change into some gym clothes and go for a little run. I only have to do 3 miles today, which I'm really happy about because, like I said before, I don't really enjoy running at the gym anymore right now, especially if it's longer runs. So when it's something like 3 miles, I feel like that's something I can do at the gym. I also downloaded a new audiobook that I'm going to listen to. And yeah, that's the plan. I think after that, I'm gonna sit down, do a little bit of work, and then get right into dinner. We're gonna make ramen today. I made ramen last week, and it was absolutely delicious. I made ramen with a pork fried cutlet kind of thing last week. This time I'm gonna try making it with ground beef because that's just what I have defrosted right now, so we're gonna see how that goes, and I'm kind of actually super excited for this. I think Colin's gonna be coming home a little bit later today, so I might just have dinner by myself and maybe just leave some for him, but excited. Alrighty friends, we are back from the gym. It was so stuffy at the gym, unbelievably stuffy, and this is one of the reasons I don't like running in the gym and I prefer running outside right now. Not to say that there are some summer days that are absolutely gross outside, but it was just so stuffy. I was sweating so much, which is not the worst thing in the world, but it was warm and it was hot and it was icky. But we did it. We did our 3 miles, all done. I'm just doing a little vitamin C right now. And I thought we could chat immigration. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this, and the reason why I think it's important to talk about this is immigrating to a new country is hard. It is something that I didn't even realize exactly how hard it was until maybe a year or two ago. And to be completely honest, I only really thought of myself as an immigrant at the start of last year. So at the start of last year, I was working at an immigration law firm. I was a social media manager there, And it was the first time just being around all of this content, being around this industry, being around the news, honestly, more than anything else. It was just being around so much immigration news that for the first time in my life, I really had that moment of realization where I was like, all this news, like, this is talking to me, like me in Canada. I am an immigrant, and I've been an immigrant here forever, since the very beginning of my time here. In fact, I've been an immigrant in other countries as well, but this was the first time it really hit me like a ton of bricks as an adult what it means to be an immigrant. And it's hard. It isn't easy. It's, I think, at times a really lonely process as well. So where we currently are is I'm in the process of applying for my permanent residency in Canada, and the way we are doing it is through spousal sponsorship. So I am eligible for 2 pathways. I'm eligible for the express entry pathway, which I am already in the pool right now. But the points are really, really high, and the chances of that happening, I mean, it could happen. I don't want to say it might not, but we are also being a little proactive. And since we are eligible for spousal sponsorship, we are choosing to also do that pathway. And where we are right now is we're really, really close, not yet, but really close to submitting our application. And what we decided to do was do the application ourselves, and then we're going to have a lawyer review it and then submit it. We thought about going the route where a lawyer would do the entire application for us. It was just like crazy expensive, and we didn't see the value in it. I'm pretty familiar, having like worked in the immigration side of things and just being around all of this like my whole life. I'm pretty familiar with what this application entails, and I think we knew what we needed and we knew how to do it ourselves, which is why we decided to go that route. But we still want a lawyer to review it, because I think it's the safest thing to do. There might be things that we don't notice, there might be things that we don't miss. We are on a slight time crunch. We have time, but there is also a little bit of a time crunch, and we just want to get it right the first time. I think the number one thing with immigration that I've learned through my experience is get it right the first time. If you can, do everything you can to get that first yes. Once you get a no, not to say it's impossible to get a yes after that, but it just becomes a little bit harder. And I'm saying all of this, and please take it with a grain of salt. I am not an immigration expert at all. I'm just talking and sharing my own experience. So all of that being said, we are in this process where we are currently waiting for one piece of paperwork that is taking a little while to come through. Once we have that come through, we're going to submit everything to the lawyer. That's supposed to take like a week or so, and then we can submit our application. So in all, I'm really hoping the end of August is kind of when we submit. If not the end of August, I'm really hoping that first week of September. The current processing time for spousal sponsorships is 11 months. And one of the things that we have been recommended with spousal sponsorship is that I don't leave the country while this application is being processed. And again, if you are coming to me for immigration advice, I'm not an expert, so don't trust everything I'm saying. If there's one thing I can recommend, it's go to a lawyer, go to an expert, speak to someone that is licensed. But what we have been told is I cannot travel outside the country, and that has been hard for me. It has been hard for so many reasons. Last time I saw my sister was last year June, so it's been more than a year since I haven't seen her. The last time I saw my parents was last year November, so it is going to be a while before I see them. It is going to be a while before I go home. We were really planning and excited to go home in December this year. We spent last Christmas with Colin's family, so we were really hoping to spend this Christmas with my family. That sadly just doesn't look like it's going to happen, and I have had more days than I would like to admit where I felt really low about this. I'm someone who's really close to my family, so a process like this is hard for me, and there's just been so much with this immigration process that has been so hard. If you want a little bit of history, when I applied for my work permit, it was during COVID, and I was back home in Oman with my parents back then, and I was told that I couldn't enter the country as a student. I would have to apply for my work permit, and I'm kind of giving you the quick version over here, leaving out a lot of details. But I was told I would have to apply for my work permit. Once I get that, I'd be able to come into the country. I applied for my work permit, and I was told the processing time would be 7 weeks. It took me a year and a half to get my work permit, and it was one of the most excruciating year and a half of my life. It was a really hard time, and I think it left a really bitter taste for this whole process. The main thing I want to share today is, if you are someone who's going through this process or your version of this process, because the one thing I've come to learn is all of our experiences are similar but also different in some way or the other. I just want you to know you're not alone. Like, there are so many people out there going through the same thing, just their version of it. And something Colin reminds me of often, it's something I think it's really hard for me to believe this, because to me, I'm like, the way I'm living away from my family, it's just, that's the norm. Like, that is my life, that is my reality, and that's all I know. And something that Colin really reminds me is that this is probably one of the hardest things we as humans can do. I had a counselor once that told me just the mere act of being an immigrant and living away from family and living away from everything that is familiar to you is a traumatic experience. And that put so much into perspective for me and just really reminded me to be kind to myself. I think I definitely have a tendency to be very go, and I'm very much like, I signed up for this, so I have to see it through and I can't complain about it, but it's hard. And admitting it's hard doesn't make it any less harder, and it also doesn't make it any easier, but it allows me to exist and it allows me to feel whatever I'm feeling. So that's a little bit of background for me immigration wise. I want to keep talking about this. I want to keep sharing my journey as much as I can. I think there are parts of it I do need to keep private, but I want to share it as much as I can, because I do know at my hardest times in this journey, all I've ever wanted is to hear someone else's story. All I've ever wanted is someone else to tell me that they've also been going through this and this is what they did to feel better. And so that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to share. And that's what you can look forward to on this channel as well. So all of that being said, we are going to go do a little bit more work and then hop into the shower and dinner tonight. I'm really excited for ramen. I think it's going to be really good. It was really fun making ramen last time, and I have an idea of how I'm going to do it differently, how we're going to make it that slight bit better. And I'm probably going to film it for my Instagram and my TikTok as well, so you can look for it there. Yeah, let's go. Happy Thursday. We've got Cinnamon over here. She is gonna get groomed later today, and we are in such a desperate need of a grooming. Like, oh, this is gonna be good. She's gonna feel so much more comfortable. She's at a point right now where she doesn't even like jumping up on the bed because I think her nails are a little bit too long. We did trim them ourselves, but we are a little nervous about trimming them ourselves too much. There was one time when we snipped her just the slightest bit and it was just so sad. So we did like a tiny trim, and I say we, but what I really mean is Colin did a tiny trim on them, but I do think they need a full trim. She definitely needs a full groom too, so super excited to do that. But happy Wednesday, friends. Hold on. Alrighty, we're gonna keep the camera over there, works perfectly. Happy Wednesday. It is afternoon time. I just had a bowl of leftover ramen from yesterday for a lunch, and it was delicious, but it was also kind of hot. It's a warmer day today. The sun is out and shining, which is great, but maybe not the right day for ramen, but it's okay. I enjoyed it. Made myself a little ginger lemon tea now, which I'm gonna sip on. I have a couple hours of meetings, and then like I said, we're going out for someone's, it's not me, someone's grooming appointment, and I think I'm just gonna sit at a coffee shop while she's at her appointment, get some more work done, have a lot of like admin work to do. So we're gonna work our way through all of that, kind of the perfect coffee shop kind of work. But yeah, I did not get up at 5 a.m. today. It was just so freaking hard and it didn't happen. I woke up around 6:20 and I did get through my morning routine. I did like a 5K, I meditated, I did some breath work, I journaled, listened to an audiobook, made us breakfast, had a cup of tea, showered all before work. So I was really proud of myself for still doing all the things I wanted to do. And honestly, like that's a learning experience in itself for me. I think when things don't go exactly as planned, I definitely have a tendency to like feel really bad and beat myself up, but I am trying very, very hard instead of doing that to just take it in stride and make the best of what I have left. And I think that was what today ended up being. It was perfect. It was, I think, just what we needed. There is a lesson in everything. There is a reason everything's happened. And as long as you are open to finding it and learning from it, you'll find it. So just a little something to remember. That being said, I think I'm going to end today's vlog over here. I've got a full day ahead, an exciting day ahead, and we're probably gonna pick up the camera and vlog later today. We're running our first 10K at the end of this week and I'm super excited about that, so I'm probably gonna vlog that. But I think this is going to be the end of our immigration diary for this video. I just want to one more time say, if you are someone going through something similar or your own version of this, I am not an immigration expert. I am not giving advice. All I am doing is sharing my experience, and it is a hard one. And I'm sure there are people out there that have it much, much harder than me as well. And I see you, I am holding space for you and sending you so much love during this time. My number one tip and my number one advice is really just be kind to yourself and take in the fact that you are doing something that is hard. You are doing something that so many people in this world might never do. And just take in how amazing you are for doing it. And I get it, there are a lot of people out there who are doing it too, but there are a lot of people out there not doing it. And that shouldn't be your drive, but I think that should just be the thing that reminds you that you are doing something uncomfortable, you are doing something that can be traumatic, you're doing something that is hard in its nature, like picking your entire life up and moving to the other side of the world, away from family, away from friends, away from everything that is familiar is not easy. And then doing all of that while trying to find a job, support yourself, build a community, make your dreams come true, build a business, like whatever your goals are, trying to do all of that at the same time is hard. So take that in, show yourself grace, show yourself some love, and know that you are not alone. Sending you so much love, and I'll see you soon.